Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the PC Elitist, a channel dedicated to video game commentary and discussion, always from the PC perspective, and it is the greatest platform for gaming. My name is Woodsy.
That would make me Shepard.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. And if there's any downside to the greatest platform for gaming, if there's anything that can make it not the greatest platform for gaming as a industry,
it makes it not the best community for gaming.
Yes. It makes it not the most attractive.
The platform is perfection. The community is the problem. Go ahead.
True. You're right. And the reason being, this just manifested itself in an article that was on IGN about that, an IGN article about a PC Gamer article.
Yes.
And now we're doing
a
discussion on the article of the article.
Of the article.
Right. About how much Witcher 2 got pirated.
4.5 million times.
Right. And every time it was just people who just wanted to see if it would run on their computer.
Just wanted to test it. A little benchmark.
Yeah.
A little benchmark.
That's all I want. I don't want to play it.
4.5 million times this game was pirated.
Right.
And
there's 4.5 million douchebags out there.
Exactly. And they only sold about 1 million copies. So that means that 4.5 to 1 ratio of pirating to purchasing.
Right.
Inexcusable, unacceptable. I hate all of you.
You know, they say in the article, and they admit, not everyone that pirates the game doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to buy it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily 4.5 million lost customers.
Right.
Which I found interesting. It's mainly the CEO of CD Projekt, the company who developed it. Really interesting guy, by the way. Great views on gaming and puts a lot of things in perspective. But I found that point interesting. But I don't give a shit. If you're going to buy it, just fucking buy it.
Here's the thing.
Read the reviews on Metacritic like I do, and then decide if you want to buy it.
I know some guys who pirate games all the time. And they'll say, like every other guy who pirate games, if the game is really good, I'll buy it. Yeah. If it deserves my money.
And if I'm going to buy it anyway, what does it matter that I played it 3 weeks before I bought it?
Right.
Which is the closest thing to, yeah, I understand that point, to the entire argument. But I still reject it.
Well, the guy who I know does it the most, who I know the best, he has that argument. Well, if it's really good and they deserve my money, I'll buy it. You know when the last time he bought a game that he pirated? Half-Life 2.
It was like 93, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I guess that was the last decent game that came out that deserved the, $50.
Yeah.
I know this is a PC channel, and inevitably you're going to get people who love their PC and pirate games. And might be a little taken aback that we don't like you. But
yes, we certainly believe in the infallibility of the PC as a machine. But as far as the community goes, it's the bane of the PC gaming existence.
Right.
And I'd like to point out very quickly. Well, is there any other thoughts you had preliminarily?
Well, I think
because I'm about to launch
Witcher 2
these folks.
Was a game that is... I'm playing it now, and it's fantastic.
You've played it a lot more than I have. So
it is really good. And I think the production value is ridiculous. You could see it in the acting and the animation and everything about the game. But they had to make it scalable to get on the console market. To be completely honest, I haven't felt the consoleization of it that much. Mm-hmm. But
that's because they designed the game for PC and then went from there, much like Battlefield.
Right.
I don't feel a consoleization of Battlefield at all, but that's because we're playing the full version.
We're playing We're playing Battlefield 3.
Yes.
Not Battlefield 3 for console.
Yes.
And I'm playing Witcher 2, not Witcher 2 for console.
Indeed.
I don't know what's in it, what's not in it for console. I honestly haven't seen it, but you look at the game, you know that the graphic capability of the console can't meet what's going on in this thing.
Yeah, we have very nice systems, and it taxes the shit out of our systems.
Right. So, but besides the rare exception of the Witcher 2 team, I do think that single-player games that we see less quality, and I'm harking back to it's a bad time to be an FPS fan, that the reason we're not seeing great FPSs anymore and great single-player experiences is because we're used we're used to PC style first person single player games, but we're not going to get them because you're just going to lose your shirt.
Yeah. Why make a game when 5 out of 6 people who will play it will not buy it?
Right.
Or even if, like they said, some people, even if 3 out of 6, even if it's half.
Right.
Ridiculous. And no other business would stand for that.
Exactly.
At all.
Yeah. So I think as long as pirating, okay, let's take an example. Take MechWarrior, the franchise MechWarrior. It's finally coming back in some way, and it's multiplayer only. Okay, I think most people remember how awesome the single player was for MechWarrior, but it's only going to be on multiplayer because the checkpoints to pirate a game going multiplayer. If you pirate it, what advantage do you get? I mean, you get to run around in an arena.
Yeah.
You have to go online. You have to log in to play. So it's a way for them to just sell real copies, official copies. Mm-hmm. They're not going to make a single-player MechWarrior game for it to just get pirated off the shelves.
Yeah.
And, that's it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get that experience anymore.
That's true. And I think, what would you say if you were, GameStop and you had a big PC section and people basically walked in and took the game off the shelves and walked out?
I would say, if they really like it, they'll come back and give me $50.
Right. Yes.
I would say that. That's because that's what they say, right?
Honor among thieves. I have a few points to make, and I will be brief because, as some of you have noticed, when I go off, it doesn't end quickly. First of all...
I have my Snuggie and pillow right there.
Thank you. For those of you who pirate, and I know we probably have some subscribers who do, I hope it's not most of you, you are the bane of PC gaming. And feel free to comment and tell me your reasons and why you think it's justified. I am unshakable on this. So you may feel it's a waste of time to try and convince me. That's fine. I don't think it's worth my time to necessarily convince you, because if you're already doing it, chances are some shepherd's not going to convince you otherwise. One of the biggest things that struck me is that the CEO of CD Projekt said that a ratio of 4.5 to 1 pirating to purchasing isn't a bad ratio. And that, to me, is like when people say about American education, for example, we've seen improvements. 8th graders are now reading at a 5th grade level when they used to read at the 3rd grade level. That's an improvement. Yes, factually correct. It's an improvement. That is awful that we consider that a good ratio. That is improvement.
Right.
Or when you say crime rates, the murder rate's gone down significantly. Well, you're still having 10% of your segment of the population getting killed every year. No. It sickens me that we've gotten to a point where 4.5 to 1 isn't a bad ratio.
Right.
That is just fucking sad to me.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get consoleized single-player experiences, as long as pirating happens, and you're like, well, out of 4.5 million people, I'm just one guy. What can I do?
Yeah.
You can stop pirating. That's one thing you can do.
Yeah. And we've heard that from one of our, I wouldn't say friends, a guy we know who pirates constantly. Pirates OSs.
Right.
That's bad.
Right.
That's one of his arguments.
And I think he was actually insulted when we didn't invite him to be part of this channel. Or
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, you wonder why.
I don't know. Why didn't I invite?
Another excuse he has.
Because you're killing the platform I love.
Most of what I have to say has to do with a lot of the comments. 'Cause I read the comments on the article and found some threads of similarity in terms of some major themes were popping up. One of them was, I only pirate from large companies. I don't pirate from indie developers. I don't think I need to explain why that's stupid. They have enough money, they won't miss it if I do it.
Right. Let me explain to you why me stealing is okay.
Yeah, that's company that you love lost $200 million because of this pirating.
Right.
At least.
There's a lot of people in a large company that want to make money. Okay? So they put a lot of money into one game to make a lot of money to pay everyone who was involved.
Yes.
Okay? So I think it's pretty cool that a company will invest millions of dollars into a game, charge $10, $20 more than your average indie game to give you that blockbuster experience, and you're asking for $10-$20 more than the indie game, and they want to make a return on that. I don't know what the big issue is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my favorite one in terms of how stupid it was, it's fair to pirate because the game is a resource hog.
Wait, on your computer?
Yeah. The game is a resource hog. Witcher 2, it just sucks all the resources out of your computer when you play it, so it's okay to pirate it.
That's an argument?
That was the end of the argument. That wasn't his setting up the basis that he could then launch into argue. That was his argument.
Right.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Another great one. Well, the music industry is fine. PC gaming will be the same way. Music industry got pirated to hell. Music industry is not fine. Try getting a job in the music industry if you're not an artist. I know 4 people who went to recording school and finished near the top of their class. Can't even get an internship unpaid. In LA.
Wow.
The capital of music. Music industry is not fine. It's great if you happen to be the owner of iTunes.
Right.
But that's because they've completely had to change the way they do distribution. And I think we could do 3 discussions on how what we learned from the music industry could be applied or not applied to the gaming industry. But I digress.
I like to just kind of say that I think the pirating and that kind of activity it's just a lack of appreciation in general. And like the guys at Project Red, or the Witcher 2 guys, CD Projekt that did Witcher 2, they have to come out to be good PR guys and say, look, we love PC, we understand. They can't. I don't think they're saying how they actually feel about it.
Yeah.
They have to stay on good terms with their community, pirating or no pirating. But frankly, I wish he would come out and say this really actually angers us, because we would love to just make exclusively for PC, because he's willing to say, which a lot of people are afraid to say, that console is inferior to PC, that PC is the best platform and always will be.
Yeah.
He's willing to piss off console people, but he's not willing to piss off the pirators because those are the people who are the PC community.
Yeah.
I wish he would piss those people off.
I agree. That's what we're doing right now, though.
Oh, okay.
But
good.
we're just 2 guys.
We're just 2
in
guys.
a shed. One final point I want to make, and this was a little eye-opening in the sense that I never really thought about it this way, and it's an international phenomenon. How he said you have to look at pirating on a country-to-country basis. And I think the example he pointed out was selling games in Germany is different from selling games in Poland, where the average income in Poland may be 1/3 of what it is in Germany. So if the game isn't proportionally priced, a 30, 50 euro game in Poland is a lot more money.
Right.
And so, and I think that it's an interesting perspective. And me, even if I don't agree with it, I'm always open to hearing these other perspectives. And if you have a new way of looking at pirating, feel free to tell it to me, even if I think you're stupid. Here's how I feel about the country-to-country thing. Is it my fault or the developer's fault that your country may not be a first-world country, maybe a 1A or a second-world country? No. Don't tell me that video games, and this is one of the things I saw in comments, don't tell me that video games is like medicine or food. That if I can't afford it, I'm going to steal it. They're a luxury item. If you can't afford it, guess what? You don't get to play. It's not my fault if your country is shitty. Or if you happen to live in a poor area of a shitty country. Not the developer's fault either that you can't afford it.
Right.
And it's not his problem.
Right.
It is his problem when you steal from him.
There are many games I wanted to play, and I just didn't feel like spending the money. So I don't pirate the game. Dead Space, for one.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't play it. If it goes on sale, I'll play it. Metro 2044 or whatever.
Yeah.
2033. Whatever it's called.
Future.
I don't feel like spending $50 on it, waiting for it to go on sale before I buy it.
Yeah, and that's what Steam is great for, weekend sales.
Right.
So yeah, I know this is running a little long, so I had 2 questions I wanted to put over the community. One is more simple than the other. First one is, does all of this say, can the developers kind of preempt pirating by just making demos for pretty much all games they put out? Because as I understand it, it's not hard to put together a demo, and it's not hard to distribute it. Mm-hmm. I very much enjoy demos that we play on Steam. So is it kind of better to go that route? And some people may argue, well, what's the difference? Either I pirate it or you give me a demo. Either way, it's free, and I'm playing it before I buy it. You can argue semantics. They put out the demo, so they're saying it's okay for you to play it for free. If you pirate it, They're not
So
saying
that's
that.
like saying, like, either I watch the trailer to a movie or I just pirate the whole thing, and there's no difference.
Yeah, I agree. And the other question, and so just what do you think about that? The other question I wanted to put out, we have said a lot of things along the lines of consoles make games worse. This doesn't really change that, although one of the arguments he makes in here is, does pirating actually make games better, in the sense of, are we driven to make a higher quality game so players will have no choice but to buy it and enjoy it? And I'm interested to see him flesh that out a little bit more. If I could ever meet him, I'd want to ask him, can you pontificate on that a little bit more? Because I don't really know how much I agree with it. I think that when you push a console, or push a game, you port it out to a console, I don't think it's just about, as a PC developer, just about expanding a new consumer base. I think it's also, we want to sell the game to people who won't pirate it. But here's the thing. That's not to say that I think console gamers are any better as a community than PC gamers because they don't pirate. They can't really. They don't have the ability to, because they don't have a machine that can do that. I think if you could pirate on a console, you'd see rates just the same. I think we're talking about gamers here. Typically younger.
Right.
And no matter how we talk about sophisticated, less sophisticated, whatever, I think what we've seen, as highly as we think of the PC community, they still have these awful, dreadful habits that we just can't stand.
I think the argument that if we just make a better game, I don't see that as flushing out very well. I mean,
I don't either, but I'm interested to see how he would.
Like, his point is, people in certain countries just can't afford it, so they're going to pirate it. Regardless of the quality of the game, that's not going to change.
True. And you see people pirate games that are $10.
Yeah.
People pirate games. Like, I don't think price really matters. You could drop the price to $5. There are some people who, out of principle, still would not give you that $5.
Right.
And fuck them too.
Well, I would love to hear the comments on this.
Yes, clearly we have strong feelings. We could go on forever, but I think we've gone on long enough.
Right.
And you would agree.
My name is Woodsy.
My name is Shepard, and this is the PC Elitist, signing out.